What's up, everyone? We made it, 2021. I'm sure all of us are glad to see 2020 go, and in the big picture, it was a terrible, horrible year with the pandemic and all the people that lost their lives and all the other people who left us in 2020. I mean, looking at it all, it's from a big picture, is a terrible, horrible year that I'm sure a lot of us are glad to see go. But what I've learned throughout the year in 2020 was that, even though everything around us is not going the way that we want it to, you have to look at the small wins within your life, within your circle. Looking back, I can say 2020 was one of the best years of my life. And it sounds weird, but if I just look at what I was going through and what my family was going through, it was one of the best years of our lives, and definitely will go down in our memory. For one, we moved back down to Southern California. Insane. I never would have thought that we would be able to move back down here, but we moved back down to our hometown, to our home county in August, and it's been great. I mean, we're so much closer to friends and family. We see them more often, safely, of course, and it's done a lot for our mental health and our well-being. Back in the Bay Area, we would have to commute an hour each way to the kids' school. They went to a private school just because the schools in our area weren't the greatest. And now, obviously with the pandemic, they were doing distance learning. But our youngest one is back in school, and it's awesome. We just walk him 2 minutes to the bus stop. He's happy to go on the bus, and he goes to school 4 days a week. It's been great. Another thing that happened in 2020 was that I left my job, and that could be looked at as a bad thing. But looking at it now, it was actually a blessing in disguise. I left after a month after moving back down here, and in retrospect, it was actually the right move at the time. The kids were doing distance learning, and my youngest son, he's 5, and it's impossible to get him to sit still in front of an iPad for 4 hours a day. So that is a full-time job in itself. And while I was working, it was my wife and I were juggling time sitting next to him, making sure he was engaged and paying attention. And it was definitely hard. And once I left my job, it was easier to sit with him and make sure he was engaged. And don't get me wrong, it was very stressful, but I was able to concentrate on helping him full time. And at the same time, it enabled me to spend more time with the kids, and especially my wife. Like, she left her job too shortly after we moved back down, and we were able to spend time with each other, just us two. And that was the first time we were able to do that consistently for the first time in like 6 years, ever since we got married, because we had the youngest one shortly after we got married. So we spent a lot of time just hanging out and just getting back to the reason why we dated and why we why we married each other in the first place. Also, this year we were able to sell our house during a pandemic. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was rough at the time. We had to move down to this apartment sight unseen. We had to have the contractors come in and do the upgrades. And luckily we worked with our realtor, whose husband is a contractor, and they did an amazing job. And we worked it out to where we could pay him once our house made it out of escrow. And we sold it for more than what we were asking for. And really looking back at it, I still can't believe that we were able to do all of that, move our entire family, our lives down here to an apartment, sell our house, and have it all work out without any hiccups. Looking back, it's so grateful that happened. Looking to 2021, I'm excited for the new year. I'm hopeful that this whole situation and pandemic will end soon, and looking forward to starting a new job. And once this pandemic moves on and I'm looking forward to hanging out with all my friends and family without these masks. So here's to 2021.